You know, sometimes life throws you a curveball so wild. You can't help but laugh before you swing because what else are you going to do when two guys in fake cop uniforms show up at your door, trying to cuff you over a lawn that's barely out of line, while some HOA queen bee smirks like she's just won the lottery? I'm Jack Harper, a guy who spent 20 years in law enforcement, 15 running SWAT, the last 5 as chief of police in a small city called Willow Grove. This is the story of how I moved into my dream home, looking for peace, only to find a bully with a clipboard and a scam so bold it'd make your head spin. It all started when I pulled into Pinewood Lane, my new street, in a pickup loaded with boxes and a heart full of hope. The place smelled like fresh paint and second chances, big oaks shading the sidewalks, kids riding bikes, lawns so green they looked like they belonged in a magazine. I'd bought this house to escape the noise of the job, the sirens, the late-night calls. My late wife, Sarah, used to joke I'd need a quiet place someday, or I'd lose what was left of my sanity. She'd labeled one box, "Jack's old cases burn me," her way of poking fun at the stacks of case files I couldn't let go. I smiled unpacking that one, her handwriting still sharp after all these years. My grandpa, a grizzled Korean War vet named Tom, used to say a man's home is his fortress, but only if the neighbors don't storm the gates. I was hoping for neighbors who'd just wave and move on. For a few weeks, it was perfect. I'd wave at Mike, the guy across the street who seemed to live with a weed whacker in one hand and a coffee mug in the other. A young couple, the Wilsons, dropped off cookies, chocolate chip, still warm. I set up my garage workshop, started sleeping through the night, felt the weight of the badge lift a little. Then one morning, I found a red slip of paper under my truck's wiper, screaming in bold font, "Violation notice." My grass, it said, was a half-inch too tall, breaking some rule in the Pinewood Community Covenant, signed by one Linda Grayson, HOA president. A $50 fine. I looked at my lawn, then at Mike's across the street, same damn length. My gut twisted, not with anger, but that old cop instinct, the one that smells a bully a mile away. Someone with a little power, real or fake, was testing me. The next day, 2 more notices. One for the lawn again, another for my trash, sitting out too long, $75 this time, $125 total. Linda was efficient, I'll give her that. The language was sharp, full of immediate compliance and further action threats, the kind of jargon meant to scare folks who don't know better. I pictured my grandpa, his eyes narrowing at a liar across a poker tablet. Call Linda a tin pot dictator, someone who makes rules just to feel big. I saw her that afternoon, walking her yappy little dog, clipboard in hand, scribbling notes like she owned the block. Our eyes met through my window, and she gave me this smug, queenly stare, like I was a peasant in her kingdom. That's when I knew this wasn't about grass. This was personal. I could have ignored it, paid the fines, kept the peace. But 20 years on the force teaches you something. You don't let a weed grow in your garden. You pull it out, roots and all. So I drove to the county clerk's office, a dusty old building that smelled like paper and time. The clerk, a woman named Betty with glasses on a chain, looked like she'd seen every neighborhood drama twice. I asked for the Pinewood HOA's records. She typed, sighed, typed again. "No such thing," she said. "No HOA, no covenants, nothing filed for Pinewood Lane since the 80s. I showed her one of Linda's red notices. She smirked, a tired kind of smirk. "Seen this before. Someone plays boss, prints fancy letterhead, and most folks just pay to avoid trouble." I got 2 certified letters stating no HOA existed, $25 each, notarized, official. It was my first weapon, a quiet one, made of truth. But truth alone doesn't stop a bully. Linda wasn't just annoying. She was breaking laws, fraud, extortion, maybe worse. I needed her to dig her own grave. So I set up shop at home, turned my quiet retreat into a command post. I pulled out gear from my SWAT day, small cameras, a tiny mic sewn into my shirt, a ring that sent an encrypted alert to my best lieutenant, Emma Torres. One tap, two taps, and Emma would get live audio and video, plus a ping to my guy Tom, a rock-solid ex-Marine who drove like he was born behind the wheel. I called Mike and the Wilsons, asked them to film anything weird at my place, no questions. Mike laughed. Linda had once fined him for a non-compliant mailbox. The Wilsons were nervous, but agreed. My trap was set. The next morning, a black SUV rolled up. No markings, just attitude. Two guys got out, dressed in what they thought were cop uniforms, navy shirts, shiny badges, but the patches were off, the belts too new. Amateurs. Linda stepped out too, clutching her clipboard like a scepter, her face all smug triumph. They pounded on my door, not knock pounded, like they owned me. I opened it, playing dumb. "Can I help you?" The bigger guy, all puffed up chest, barked. "Jack Harper? We got a warrant for your arrest." He waved a paper with a fake court seal and a judge's name I knew retired years ago. The charge? Criminal defiance of community bylaws. Pure nonsense. Linda chimed in, her voice dripping venom. "You were warned, Mr. Harper. We don't tolerate lawbreakers on Pinewood Lane." I raised my hands, slow, calm. "No trouble. I'll comply." They relaxed, thinking they'd won. The big guy cuffed me, too tight, showing off. I didn't flinch. I looked at Linda and gave her a small smile, not a big one, just enough to make her squirm. "Wipe that grin off your face," she snapped. "You're in deep trouble." They marched me down my driveway, the classic perp walk, wanting the neighbors to see. Mike was filming from his porch, the Wilsons from their window. My mic was live, my cameras rolling. I tapped my ring 1, 2. Emma was watching. In the SUV, it smelled like cheap Pine air freshener and bad decisions. The two goons were laughing, high on their little power trip. "Should have paid the fine. Tough guy." The smaller one sneered. I stayed quiet, let them stew in their own noise. As they shoved me in, I stumbled on purpose, slapping a GPS tracker onto the bumper. Magnetic, tiny, untraceable. Emma was already tracking it, logging the case, calling in Tom and the team. The SUV peeled out, heading for an industrial park, probably to scare me and dump me somewhere quiet. They didn't know they were driving into my world. The smaller goon turned, smirking. "When we let you go, you're going to forget this happened. Pay your fines. No cops, got it? We know where you live." I nodded, flat, calm. "I understand." What I understood was they'd just added threatening a public official to their rap sheet. My team was closing in, Emma coordinating, Tom in his unmarked truck, ghost cars boxing us in. At the industrial park, a beat-up van cut us off, forcing us to slow. Tom's truck pulled up beside us, a black sedan behind. In seconds, we were trapped. Tires screeched, doors flew open, and my people, real cops, not costume shop wannabes, swarmed out, shouting, "Police! Hands up!" The goons froze, their tough act gone. Tom's voice boomed, "Hands on the dash now." They complied, shaking. A young officer uncuffed me, asked if I was okay. I nodded, stepped out, and took control. The SUV was a Goldman, fake badges, stacks of red notices, $5,000 in cash with addresses on sticky notes, a burner phone with text from L-Boss Linda. One read, "Is the trash taken out?" Trash. That's what she called me. It wasn't just fraud. It was personal, malicious. We found a key to a storage unit, rented under Linda's shell company. I sent Tom to check it. The unit was her Nerve Centera desk, filing cabinets, a printer churning out red notices. Files on every Pinewood house, mine up front with my property records. Behind it, files on neighbors who'd moved away, chased out by fake fines, $50 here, $2,000 there. Other drawers had files for whole neighborhoods, fake HOAs all over the city. She was a one-woman crime wave, preying on the vulnerable, like an 80-year-old woman bullied into selling her home over her roses. The last cabinet had it all: forged court orders, fake letterheads, a ledger of shell companies hiding $250,000 in extorted cash. It was enough to bury her. Emma got a tip from the burner phone. Linda was holding a board meeting in her garage that night. Perfect. We planned a raid. No knock, just results. At dusk, we moved in, silent, shadows under the oaks. From Mike's yard, I heard Linda's voice through a directional mic, ranting about me. He was supposed to be easy. Now he's gone, and so are my guys. She still thought she was untouchable. I gave the signal. We hit the side door, burst in, shouting, "Police!" Nobody moved. Linda's face went from smug to panic in a heartbeat. Her two board members, scared neighbors she'd roped in, threw their hands up. Linda bolted for the house, shoving Tom, screaming, "I'm the HOA president. I have rights." Tom didn't budge. I cuffed her myself, the steel clicking loud in the quiet garage. "You're under arrest for extortion, fraud, racketeering, the works," I said. She hissed, "You'll lose your badge." I just smiled. "Tell it to the judge." We marched her out to flashing lights, neighbors watching from their porches, the fear lifting from Pinewood Lane. A month later, the case was done. Linda got 15 years, her fake Empire printers, cash, SU seized. Victims got refunds, liens voided. 2 copycat scams in nearby towns fell the same week. My street's quiet again, kids laughing, Mike waving from his mower. I keep one of her fake badges on my desk at the station, a training tool to teach rookies how to spot a fraud, how to build a case that sticks. Grandpa Tom would have loved this order restored, not with fear, but with facts, slow and steady. But here's the thing: Linda wasn't just a con artist. She was a symptom. People like her thrive when good folks stay quiet, when we let fear of making waves stop us from asking questions. How many Lindas are out there, running little kingdoms, because no one checks the paperwork? That's where I want to hear from you. Ever dealt with a bully like Thiessen HOA? A boss? Someone with a clipboard and too much attitude? How'd you handle it? Drop it in the comments. Share your story. Let's talk about what happens when we stand up, when we pull the weeds out by the roots.